Hello and welcome to the Decision Ringside Digest. I'm your host Kirk Day, along with my co-hosts Noah Byrne and Nick Miller. And today we'll be going over who we think are the most underrated players in the 2023 NHL Draft. We each picked a player, and what we're going to be doing is just going over how they're underrated, basically. Now, these players some of them may be picked in the first round. That don't mean they're not underrated. It just means that we think they deserve more attention than what they're getting compared to what we've been seeing recently, and probably could move up a few slots in the draft. You know, some teams may want him. Like, he proves that their talent of what they are. You know, we're just going to be going over what we think. We got a few ideas here. Just let us know in the comments as well what you think, who you think may be underrated, who you think may be overrated. You want to hear what you got to think, what you guys think about it. So we're going to be starting off with my first selection here, which is Riley Heidt. Now, I really do like the way that this guy looks. He's 5'11", but you wouldn't know. He plays like he's 6'3". He's very, very good with a stick, offensively and defensively. He likes getting in the scrums, in and after the whistle, you know, giving you a shot in the skating back down the ice, kind of like a Matthew Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk style of great grinder there. But he is just a very good player. You can see here by his stats, 72 assists and 25 goals in 68 games, 97 points. You know, he got a lethal shot, but with those goals, you would never know. Like, very underrated his shot is, and he's great with the puck on his stick in the offensive zone. He'll get the puck wherever you are. He'll get the puck to you wherever you are. Like, those 72 assists show you. He likes skating with the puck in the offensive zone and being able to get that puck across to someone across the ice, you know, little drop pass here and there. That's a very crucial part to an offensive zone player that you'd want to see, that you want those players to have. But you can see here with the description as well, this comes from Elite Prospects. He has a nasty physically. Despite being 5'11" frame, Heidt has the handling, shooting, and vision to inflict major damage to an opponent. He takes the extra stride to play the body, never passes up on an opportunity to sneak in a shot behind the play. It is an enthusiastic combatant in scrums. On retrievals, Heidt establishes inside position early, drives through opponents' hands, and separates them from the puck. And the use of contact to create space in the small area game allows for him to spin off the defensive pressure and attack inside. But also on the defense, you know, in the middle of the ice is what you want to see. He's breaking up the passes here, getting in front of people. He'll try and take the pass first, but if he can't get the pass, he's gonna hit you. There's no opportunity to get out of the way of it. He'll play physically if he don't get the stick opportunity. But I really like him. He's supposed to go anywhere what I've seen from 15 to like 32, basically the second half of the first round. And I gotta say, I really like if Minnesota would be able to pick him. I know we need a few centers, but I think that a player like this is someone that you'd want on like this team. You know, we got some big guys. We got a few small guys too, but a small guy that can play physically with the absence now of Jordan Greenway. I do like Riley Heidt in this situation. You never know what happens in the second half of the first round. You know, we said after the first 5 picks, you don't really know what's going to happen. Probably the first 6 now, because we've seen some Michkov moving down a few spots. But Riley Heidt, very good player, very underrated. I think that a lot of teams would like a talent like him on their roster. So Noah, who do you have for your underrated player in this first?
I'm just going to talk about Riley Heidt for a second there. I think people are going to. People are going to really notice him when he plays for the World Junior Team. I think he's a lock for the World Junior Team come next Boxing Day. But as you can tell by what Kirk just put up there, my pick is Gabe Perreault. He's plays for the U.S. national team this year, and he's easily a top 10 talent by far. You know, I've seen him as high as 9 sometimes, and I've seen him as low as 23, 24, which is, to me, is mind-boggling. You know, in April, he broke the record actually for the most points in a single season for the U.S. National Development Team program, in a program that had guys like Austin Matthews, Jack Hughes, and Clayton Keller, who he broke their records, which I thought is absolutely crazy. You know, he's a little bit undersized, which, you know, might drop his stock a little bit. But he, like you said, he comes in at 5'11", and he's only 165 pounds, which is a little bit on the lighter side. But, you know, he's got great hands, and you can tell by watching him, he just sees the ice so well. You know, I watched him this year at the U18s. Well, I didn't actually go to the games, but on TV and stuff. He was paired up with Will Smith, who was going to be a top 5 pick this year. And, you know, I look at teams like Detroit, Chicago, maybe even the Habs, hopefully, who have multiple first-round picks. Maybe they compare him with a guy like Will Smith, and I think that's an insane partner, and they're going to be studs for years to come easily. Also, another thing, his brother was actually picked by the Ducks in 2020, and his dad was played just under 1,000 games. So maybe talent might run in the family.
Yeah, that's what you'd like to see. As well, just one thing to mention, you said about the size. We've seen that players his size now in the NHL are not a problem. We've got guys like Cole Caulfield and Alex DeBrincat who are some of the best players in the league. So I don't think that size is really a factor anymore. It definitely will be impact in some situations, like in board battles and stuff, and like a few like situations in front of the net. But that's not the style he plays, you know? So I think that his size will not be as big of an impact as I think some people will think, which is a major factor for someone who's that talented in the draft going into it. So I do see him like underrated. You said I like that idea that the undersized players can be successful now in the NHL.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think we could be seeing like a Caulfield effect with him a little bit if he drops to that so far in the draft. Like you said, I can definitely see him going at 9. Like he's definitely not gonna go top like 7 or top 8 or anything like that. I can definitely see him going 9 because like you said, there's a lot of teams that need goal scoring out there, and Gabe Perreault provides that pretty well.
Yeah, as well, as you can see here with his rankings, they're kind of all over the place. You got like Craig Button here with 14, but then you got like recruiting scouts and Daily Faceoff got him in the 40s. So I guess some people will just take in, like that's kind of crazy. Like for someone, they may be taking in this a size factor, but I think that he can if he proves himself like in with the team that he gets drafted to wherever he goes. I think that he will be a high opportunity for this team. That it'll be a surprise, I should say, is the best way for me to put it, to the team that drafts him if they get him in a lower position like 40, because we know that he probably will be going above 40 for sure. Almost, I'd say first round definitely.
Easily.
Yeah. All right, Nick, who do you have for your player?
All right, mine is Cam Allen of Guelph. He had a down year in his terms of offensive production. He has a decent size at 6 foot, 194 pounds. He captained Canada actually recently at the most recent IHF U18s. He played 7 games, had 4 points. It's not bad for a defenseman. Led Canada to a bronze. And now we all know bronze isn't the goal for a team like Canada, but you can't knock a medal. It's still a medal, right? And I just think with his play and where he won Rookie of the Year before, and I think a lot of teams value that size and the leadership ability, defense over maybe his offensive ability will come around. But like I was gonna say, like I think a lot of teams will value that leadership over the offense, and just maybe it'll hope it'll come around in a few years. Now, where he was gonna go in the draft is kind of unknown. I've seen a lot of, as you can see there, he's all over the place. Like someone has him going 31st, the Hockey News. And there's someone there with him going 75th. I think it's crazy. I mean, I would love to have this guy, especially on Montreal. A right-handed defenseman is exactly what Montreal needs. You know, the guy can play defense. You know, the guy's got leadership skills. And, I mean, maybe in a couple of years his offense can roll around with another 2 years of development in the CHL.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing to note here is that Bob McKenzie's ranking. I trust him with my life. Like, whatever he says, I believe. So having him at 39, you use like an early second-round pick, that's where I can probably see him going. I can see him maybe a late first-round pick if a team really wants to reach on him. Just there, you have like the Hockey News have him at 31. But an early second, maybe mid-second, I think is a good spot for Cam Allen. Because like you said, Nick, after that development that he's going to have in the few years in the CHL, I think he'll become an absolutely stud defenseman. Because, you know, the right defense, a lot of teams are lacking on right defense, like you said, Montreal. So, I mean, it's not a bad idea to get someone like that. If you can get him later in the draft, it's not a bad idea.
I'd also like to point out last year that now I'm not in no way comparing player to player, but Lane Hudson went in the second round last year in the draft, and we all know what that's going to turn out like for Montreal, or what we hope it's going to turn out like for Montreal. What it's looking like it'll turn out like. So, I mean, if you pick a defenseman like early second round, you might end up with a stud on your hands.
Well, I think another thing as well, you know, like it goes back to the same saying, you know, offense wins games, defense wins championships. And to bring a guy like Cam Allen, who is just so stellar on defense, I think you can't go wrong with that pick.
Yeah. And we can also look at things like defensemen who have played great defense and like managed to stay positions in the NHL, and then a few years into their career, they'll bring up their offensive production as they're more comfortable on defense and start moving up on the play or something. Maybe they play with another guy that allows them to move up and get into the play more. I mean, like look at even Brandon Montour. His production skyrocketed the last couple of years compared to what he had before. So I think this would be an absolutely great pick in the early second round.
I do agree, and especially with the leadership role, like being the captain of that Canada team. A lot of teams value that, like you said. It's a very important thing. It shows that he wants to be there, shows he has heart for the game, shows he will have heart for the team that he gets drafted to. I'm sure his interviews as well, if he has any lined up or whatever, I'm sure he'll be successful in those as well, because if you can't be successful in those interviews, you won't be if you're a captain, you won't be you have to be successful in those interviews. So that's something good for him lined up as well. See what happens with them.
And also, if he's going to get drafted to a team like Montreal, which I hope he does, he's going to need to be good in the interviews, because we know they ask a lot of stupid questions.
Yeah, for sure. That's all we got for this video. Let us know in the comments below if you agree with our picks. If you got any more underrated people, if you got any people that you think are bust, let us know. We want to hear it. We want to see what you have to say about it. But that's all we got. Make sure to like the video if you want to see more, and also make sure to subscribe to the channel. As we know, the draft's coming very soon. A lot of exciting stuff coming. Very, very busy time of the NHL season, even though there is no hockey right now. But we got a lot of stuff lined up until the draft. Free agency. It's going to be very exciting. I'm sure you won't want to miss it. Make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching the video. See you later.